Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Arr. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Willkommen. Bonsoir. All of the above. Hello, Dennis. I'm just making the most of it while I got it, my friend. I guarantee you I spend a lot more in shampoo and a lot less time washing my face, but there we go. So it's longer to wash hair than it does skin. Yes. How is nobody at the moment? Because I'm the only one here. Yay! Yeah, just how you want live streams to be when you're the only person there. I mean, 2 thumbs up, no people. Hey ho. Guess I'll just sit here and talk to myself for a bit then. So, how's it been this week, Sharpie? Yeah, not too bad, thanks. How's your week, Sharpie? Yeah, it was okay. Bit of stress at work, but nothing we can't deal with. Oh, cool. G'day, Marquis Mark, Baron of Barras, Yeater of Yabbies. How you doing? Hope you're feeling as well as can be expected. Not rattling too much. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much a normal week for me. You know, kind of usual stuff that happens. Nothing really out of the ordinary, weird, interesting. And I know I'm a few months late, possibly a few months, maybe a few weeks. That's good to hear, Mark. Congratulations to the Iron Dames team in the final GTE race at Bahrain, being the first women team of all women to win a world endurance race. So, yes, women can race cars. They're bloody fast at it. I'll hear no otherwise. And next year they're going to be racing in hypercar in a pink Lamborghini. That's going to be fun. Yes, as I've said before, that's one of my other interests is endurance racing. Specifically the Le Mans prototypes and the GTs. Very cool. Some very cool cars. Very interesting races. Far, far, far more overtaking when you get an F1. As I was watching Fuji, I was watching again the other day from many years ago. Something like 3,500 overtakes in 6 hours. I don't know. I don't want to know how many seasons of racing in F1 that will be, if F1's even got to 3,500 overtakes in total. But that's what you get with multi-class racing. 4 different classes, all on the track at the same time. And the slowest being the GTEs, or which will be the GT3s next year. But yeah, we're talking ridiculously fast Porsche 911s, Ferrari 488s, Lamborghini Huracans. That kind of car is the slowest on the track. Around most of the track. Around the really slow corners, they're actually faster than the hypercars. Howdy, Ricky. How you doing? Hope all is well with you as well. As I say, I've not really had a very interesting week. I mean, Did go to two shops today that I've never been to before. In the UK, they're big chain stores called B&M and Home Bargains. Basically the same shop. They're kind of like a discount, sell a bit of everything, and see what you can find to see if there's anything useful. I just picked up some snacks mainly. What did I get? I got some pork scratchings, hot dogs, pigs in blanket flavoured crisps and whatnot. Well, Dad's got stage C liver cancer, first immunotherapy done. Oh, well, best wishes to your dad then. Ricky, tell him keep fighting, get well from me. And June, hello my dear. Hello again, Dennis. How you doing, my friend? Hello, Junebug. How are you? Hello, hello. Does seem to be a lot of that going around at the moment. A lot of got lots of random hearts showing up. Yeah, a lot of nasty illnesses going around at the moment. Thankfully, I just got irritable bowel, so the only person who has to worry about that is the plumber if I block the toilet again. Yeah, I thought Kenny was streaming until 6ish, but yeah. So we may get the crowd come over here then. I wouldn't complain. And I would have watched. I would have been there with Kenny, but I was with Mary, so doing other things. I'm sure Kenny would understand. and wouldn't take it personally. And to anyone else's streams that I miss, it's not on purpose. It's just either I forget, I'm asleep, or I'm at work, or I'm doing something else. Waffles is what comes out of my mouth. Waffling is a British term for when someone talks a lot but doesn't really say anything. I think that if you had a picture dictionary, it would just have a picture of Boris Johnson. Yeah, I'm hungry too. I know the feeling. Yeah, like a politician. Except sometimes what I say is actually more interesting. It's a lot more truthful as well. Speaking of which, they've just passed a new law or new set of laws in the UK that means anyone who is 14 or younger now will never legally be allowed to smoke in the UK. They set it so that the ages go up as the years go by. So yes, they're basically making smoking illegal in the UK slowly but surely. All of which it will do is just mean that there will be far more non-tax paid tobacco coming in from Europe illegally and being sold under the counter. Legal age is 18. They've set it so that basically anyone who's 14 or younger at the moment will never be old enough to buy cigarettes because the age is just going to keep going up. Yeah, so all they've really done there is shot themselves in the foot. Because if you look at it cold hard facts and don't go, oh, but people need to live a long and healthy life. Yes, exactly. All that happens is the black market will go up. The government will make less money from taxes. Yeah, so Yes, well, all that happened is the government will lose out on all the tax duty from cigarettes and tobacco products, which is what basically pays for the NHS. And people will live longer, so the pension pot will get screwed over even more. So, yeah, bad move on both parts. And it also makes it a lot trickier to legalise cannabis in the future if you can't have tobacco to go with it. Yeah, it was 16 when I was young. Yeah, I remember when it changed from 16 to 18. So I happened to go into the shop to get some. It was a 17-year-old or 16-year-old lad, 16 or 17, and he bought cigarettes like 2 days before, no problems. Came in and he's like, "Yeah, we can't sell them to you because you're not 18." Like, what? Someone, they always think they know better. And I guarantee that's bowing to pressure from some group or something. Mainly because us smokers don't really care that much about things like that to get all up in arms about it. Usually we've got better things to be doing. The Lulu! Singles off the ice cream man at 10. Yeah, so yeah. I haven't looked to see whether they've put the same thing on vaping, as I think they should. If they're going to do that with smoking, they should do that with vaping and probably alcohol as well. They banned menthol cigarettes a few years back in the UK. You can still buy menthol filters for handmade cigarettes, and you can buy these like bits of card that are, well, they're basically mentholated, but you stick in the packet of ciggies and it just makes everything all mentally in there. Because yeah, apparently menthol cigarettes appeal to children too much. No. No. They appeal to people with sinus issues. It's vaping isn't bad. It's what, yeah, I mean, you're basically breathing in steam, so it's like living in, well, somewhere hot and steamy, Charleston all year round. I'd rather breathe in smoke than steam. Licorice papers. That was you that bought them, then, was it? We had a box of licorice papers, and there was literally one person that would ever buy them, and he would buy like 10 packs at a time because we were like the only place that sold them. But yeah, just menthol filters. Oh, where's sexy Sammy? Oh, the rest of you might want to cover your eyes, but there you go, Sam. I took my socks off just so you can have a good sniff. Get a good deep breath. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. In the rivers flow, fishes journey day and night, secrets they know. Yeah, that is a haiku. Well done, Linkbot. You was. Sam's, Sam's got a thing for my feet for some reason. But if you want to get, at least they're clean. I've only had them on a day for like 3 hours or something. Um, um, need a foot cam. I have done that. I have shown foot. But trust me, that's not something anyone else wants to see. My little hooves. Um, 10 quid to activate foot cam. Oh man. Don't tempt me. what I call it, only feet. Just get a look at my feet while I'm streaming. My little hobbit feet. Yeah. Yes, there are people who like that sort of thing and pay. There was one guy who bought a boatload of Belle Delphine's bathwater and then drank it and made himself sick. Yes. I've not ever actually been on OnlyFans, but from my experience of the rest of the internet, yeah. And the fact that most of the OnlyFans girls seem to advertise on Reddit. Oh, look at that. He's even got the clip where I show my feet off. Oh, man. So it's a good job I've caught the ones where I've been filming and accidentally shown more than my feet. Oh, who was it that did that? It weren't Bunny, was it? It was someone else. Was it Bunny? I forget who it was, but someone had filmed a video of their tanks but forgot about reflections, and there were a couple of things on showing the reflection. Clear toilets, just to make it harder to clean. That's all that's for. Especially around here, the lime scale, it'd be clear for about a day, then you'd never see through it again. Yes, BB reflections. I've done similar, but I caught it before I uploaded it. I think it was Bunny, but I can't be sure. It might have been someone else. And no, I didn't immediately go and watch it and break out the Kleenex. Just don't need to know about it. Hey, be glad it's only a foot fetish. Could be a lot worse. You haven't seen him on the octopus keeping streams. I mean, I've heard him at night when he wakes up in the back garden or when he's dreaming. He's like, "Oh, Cthulhu, Cthulhu." Oh dear, sorry, Sam. I'm sure you won't mind that one. Exactly. Yeah, don't turn off your age filter and type tentacles into any kind of image search. You don't want to see. And when it gets past the people just eating octopuses or trying to eat a live one and it attaches to their face and basically pulls half their face off, yeah, you don't want to see the rest. Trust me. When it's the sort of thing I look at and I'm going, oh, ew. When I start making stink face at it, you know it's bad. Because I'm the person that used to have a German Scheiße video. Yeah, which was purely for getting rid of unwanted guests. You put it in the VCR before they get there, before they turn up. Then when you had enough of them, you just hit play. And there's a large German lady, bereft of clothing, on a stage, defecating in a bucket. But yeah, octopus is tasty. Food should not move. Yeah, it's a good way of dieting though, because if you had to chase your foods before you can eat it, burn more calories. that's the thing. You get your McDonald's, you put it on the front of the treadmill. You have one of the longer treadmills, and you set it to just slightly faster than you can run. So the only way you can get to your burger and fries is by running on the treadmill real fast. Moving food, yeah, is a different type of kink. So you got to sprint along the treadmill, grab a fry, come on, nom, nom. Yeah, it's why we invented guns. So we no longer have to chase our food. And cars or vehicles, so we can drive to closer to where the food is, get out, shoot it, drag it back, chuck it in the boot and or the trunk, and bugger off. Hello, Debs. Congratulations on dodging the really bad starts. Oh yeah, don't go back and rewatch. There's been foot fetishes, kink shaming, octopuses, and pooping in buckets. Yeah, I don't do subtle, so I don't want to get rid of visitors. You know, I'm not going to like sit and like yawn or something like that, because some of my mates in the past, I would have sat there yawning. They go, "Oh, are you tired? Oh, we'll stay longer then." You stick on something they really don't want to see, they leave real fast. It's probably the equivalent would be your parents offer threatening to get out the holiday snaps, where you know there's that one in the middle at the slideshow or the slides. That's it, and you know there's that one in the middle of either you running around naked or your parents naked. Okie dokie, Sam. And Andrew from Akavarian Daily. I have actually. He was here. He has been taking a small break as he resorts his studio and resorts himself. I think he said he'd be back, if not this weekend, then next. Yeah, he's still about. He's just taking a bit of a hiatus at the moment to get things sorted out. All is okay, and he's likely to be over on with bristle noses fairly shortly, because he took some away with him when he left. I'm sure he said this weekend. Don't tell him my message. Oh, I will. Don't you worry, June. First time we're doing one of his streams, when he comes back, it'll be like, "Oh, by the way, June was missing you really bad. She was asking about you. She was feeling heartbroken and abandoned." Oh, didn't get there. Becky was poorly, had after effects from the flu jab, didn't want to take it. Yes. I'm on a hiatus right now. They're the best kind of hiatuses. A hiatus. Better than a low hiatus. And there's got to be a medical condition that ends with hiatus. Hepatitis. Speaking of which, Tommy, how you doing, my friend? Ye and indeed ha, yo. And did you know Tommy can never steal because he can't have a 5-finger discount? I wouldn't have said that joke if I didn't know Tommy could take it. Getting a little chillier here and raining. A little chillier. I mean, it's not quite boiling conditions. Um, yeah, so weather here has mostly been chilly and damp or moist. We had more rain. Thankfully, nowhere flooding anymore. Most stuff is drained away now. Rivers are still quite high, but meh. I live on the top of the hill, so I'm not particularly worried. Um, any? Oh, well, we got a few here. Oh, fingers exactly. A bold harumph. Hey, that guy didn't harumph. Harumph, harumph, harumph. 7 months to my next birthday. It's a milestone when I started planning. Got a text saying rain in 10 minutes. But yeah, that's the good thing about the UK usually. If you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes and it will change. Well, that's the old joke. I mean, these days it's a lot more like wait 10 weeks and it might change. Given what the last few years have been like. You got 7 months to a milestone birthday. I've got 3 years to a really scary one. Well, not even that, 2.5 years now. But before I get to that scary one, Mary gets to that scary one, I've got to figure out what the hell to buy her. $35. Okay. Glad you can't see what I was doing behind my hand there. Um, and it rained in 10 minutes. They control the weather. No, they're just actually using radar to predict it now. Yeah, I think that's a general. Once you get past Ricky's age, once you hit that 40, then yeah, I mean, it's not that you dread the birthday because you dread getting older, but you just kind of like, wow, I survived another one. Um, yeah, you're too ornery though, Mark. You'll be around for donkey's years yet. You'll outlive the rest of us. Yeah, so I'll be 50 in 2.5 years. And what? But my biggest concern is what the hell am I going to get Mary for her 50th birthday? Huh? I guess I'm probably going to have to start saving up now, but what the heck? Because I'm pretty sure, like me, she's not going to really want to be reminded of the number. So if anything, I'll get a cake with, it'll be an 18. Apparently, the rain will only be around for about an hour or so. I'm going to go collect some free fish food in the pond once it stops. Loads of Daphnia. Half a century here. Yeah, the thing is, that just means I'm closer to the end. Yeah, so I've got loads of Daphnia in the Blackwater tank. Living in all the leaf litter in there and the detritus. 50, the good old days when I had my heart attack. Oh, thank you. I've got that to look forward to at least. Jim Morrison, this is the end. 50 was years ago. Yeah. So at least I've got to the point where my brain has accepted that my body can't do what it used to. Oh, Jim Morrison, this is the end. Which movie was it? Oh. What Lost Boys was it? India lost today. I predicted it would bet on Australia and won. But no, it doesn't make you a bad person. I'm English and I would never bet on England to win anything. Movie. Oh, geez. Apocalypse Now? Platoon, something like that. Yeah, yeah, starring Val Kilmer. Oh god. I good guess, Jim. Yeah. I mean, two guesses to get a song in a movie. Yeah, that's not too bad going, given the state of my brain. But yeah, I mean, June was right. Was that like the one time that Val Kilmer actually acted? Yeah, the locals will be rising. It's yeah. So I mean, I'm not a betting man. To me, it's being a Spurs fan, and if you're not English, just or familiar with English football or soccer, um, that means I always expect the worst. So to me, I'm just giving someone money and not receiving anything in return if I'd make a bet. Because, I expect failure and abject misery rather than success and winning. Basically, I'm a pessimist. It's what happens when you support a team that never wins anything. Most films from that era had really good music. It's just modern films that don't, unless it's set in the 80s or the 90s, and they might have good music. Yeah, I've got the soundtrack on record. I've not got the soundtrack for Apocalypse Now. I do have the soundtracks for The Crow and Natural Born Killers on tape. Don't want to think Brando from that movie when he was old and fat and basically immobile. But yeah, Val Kilmer was the worst ever Batman. Queen of the Damned. Oh, I think I've got that up there. Well, not the soundtrack, but I mean, it's got all the songs from the soundtrack on it. That Queen of the Damned. Yeah. My God, that was an awful movie. And yes, that is a rental copy. Yeah, the soundtrack's probably quite good. It's just the movie, from what I recall, wasn't really that great. But Natural Born Killers soundtrack is epic. It runs from like Patsy Cline and Leonard Cohen right up to like Nine Inch Nails and Rage Against the Machine kind of stuff. Oh, I love vampire movies. Some of my favourite movies are vampire movies. That's just a god awful vampire movie. If you compare it to something like Stakeland or Near Dark or Dracula Dead and Loving It, even. What was Dracula the Untold Story was better. Yeah, in the last 75 years, I did back a couple of winning horses in wars. That is true. Let's see, is there any other vampire movies up there that are obvious? Um, that's real dark stuff. Solomon Kane, yeah, it wasn't great. Um, Piranha Double D. Not vampires, but Gianna Michaels naked. Um, I don't think there's many actual vampire movies up there. There must be elsewhere. Mm, yeah. Zombie strippers. What Renfield yesterday. Loved it. Is that one? Is that the new one with Nick Cage? Static X, Linkin Park, and Korn in their heyday. Cool. Yeah. It's like I've not read, but Mary said I've seen all these reports that are like Nick Cage is like one of the best Draculas ever. I'm like, how? Max Shrek is the best Dracula ever. Well, he wasn't Dracula, was he? He was Nosferatu. Um, but you got friggin' Christopher Lee, the original. Um, the first veggie vampire. I will drink your smoothie. Um, yeah, a lot of good Draculas were there. Gary Oldman. Uh, yeah, that is the problem. Is that because you had Christopher Lee do it, then everyone else is trying to follow in his footsteps and kind of failing dismally. Gory but funny. Well, most gory movies generally are quite funny. I mean, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is really gory, but is hilariously funny. Yeah, Bela Lugosi. Yes. How could I forget about Bela Lugosi? Especially after seeing someone react to Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus the other day. Fifth Element, he knows when to be, knew when to be either understated and play the role properly, like he did in the Batman movies, or to just go completely ham, like he did in Fifth Element. This Cabin in the Woods, that is a really good horror movie. The fact that the stoner survives, that's the best thing. Um, but yeah, it goes on like your normal kind of movie, and then you get a twist at the end, and it's like, oh right, yeah, it is a great movie. Was that like Mila Jovovich's second movie after she did Blue Lagoon, wasn't it? The remake of that, where she did Brooke Shields' role, being naked and underage, and has kind of continued that as a theme throughout her career. I seem to recall in Resident Evil she flashes her underbeard a couple of times. Avatar in 3D. Oh god. Oh, that's 3 hours of my life I'll never get back. Yeah, exactly. The comedy was awesome in the Cabin in the Woods. Oh yeah, she's never claimed to be an actress. She's always a model that turned to acting. You know, not bad to look at. Could do with eating a few burgers, but you know, that's just my taste. But I was like, if to me, if they did a remake of the Addams Family and they weren't casting it obviously, Flora Jansen would be perfect as Morticia. She's ridiculously tall and gorgeous. Um, and we all know if it was a live action Roger Rabbit movie, you'd have to have Christina Hendricks. Uh, yes, Lilu. I don't think I've ever named a pet after her. That she is. Thank you, Jean. Not coming back now till after Christmas. Oh dear. Well, that does kind of make sense. To me, anyway, given I don't know what other people know, but I'm privy to a bit of some information that maybe not everyone is. So that does kind of make sense to me. Well, there's only one thing for it, Mal. You're gonna have to start streaming, buddy. Saturday evenings. And if I'm off work, I'll join you. Don't worry. Actually, worry. Yeah, he's getting loads of work done around the house and other stuffs. Yes, we want a Mal stream. You could call it Grand Mal, or yeah, understandable. We all have lives and things that go on. Um, Malpractice. There you go. Perfect. Oh, definitely want. You see, that's the kind of thing. The title that people will click on it because they're like malpractice. They might not stay long, or they might go, actually, this guy's cool. I'm enjoying this. These people in the chat are fun. They're having a laugh. It's all cool and chill. No stress, grief. Oh, pardon me. Try not to hiccup and burp at the same time. Or as I did the other day, burp and sneeze at the same time. That is not good. Um, yeah, could get a second show out of that Dr. Coke. On the TV, this tragedy thrills me, whatever flavour it happens to like. Yes. Um, I've been doing similar. I've been quoting random song lyrics at people at work, and they've been getting very confused. And then I remember they're the kind of people that listen to Kistery on the radio and you know, have never even heard of half the bands I listen to, let alone know the lyrics of the songs. when when you quote a famous lyric from a Smiths song that's been on the radio recently and nobody gets it, seriously? You're the same age as me. You should know that. I bet there's probably more people in here right now than that would get it than there were at work. Which one was it? It was punctured bicycle on a hillside desolate. That was the lyric, and nobody at work got it until I sang it badly, and then they figured out which song it was. Vicarious by Tool, or Lateralis. Yeah, I was like, yeah, Vicarious. If you really want to confuse people, play them Lateralis. Dance to this, mofo. What a hole will die, you'll feel the same, don't lie. Yes. I knew it from somewhere. Although I think Tool does just exist as purely to screw with people's minds. It's like, oh, you think someone changing from 4/4 to 6/8 is really cool and different? Let us show you this. Yeah, for real, Lateralis will make his C's out trying to dance through. Yeah, it is. Yeah. When the time signature follows the what's the name of the spiral curve? Fibonacci sequence. That's it. Well, so if you want to know that, you just got to listen to Enema. Where he basically slates the whole of California. Yeah, the Fibonacci sequence. That's the one. Yeah, flush it all away. Learn to swim. I'll see you in Arizona Bay. And you see people reacting to it, and they're like, Arizona hasn't got a bay. Oh, you completely missed the point of the song. It's, I'm probably not for most people, but to me, Danny Filth is one of the best lyricists around at the moment, and has been for the last 20 or 30 years. But it's just whether you can actually understand the words he's using. It's all in English, proper English. As someone I saw who was reacting to a Cradle of Filth song said, it's like they got the Bible, he just picked out a bunch of words that no one knows the meaning to, and then just put them together. Yeah, Yuki's a vacation on this book. Three-ring circus sideshow freaks in this hopeless effing hole we call LA. Yes. That song is entirely when he's, do not pee off mainly James Keenan. He will tear you a new one and make another $1 million while he's at it. It was Dan Cummins, comedian, podcaster. You see, he once went to a Tool concert on acid. It's the worst idea he's ever had. He's had some pretty bad ideas. Yeah, and I can imagine. Have I seen Tool live? Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu black belt was what. Yeah, and he's had both his hips replaced, hasn't he? Or was it his knees? The mayor of a town that he has to bring out. Yeah, exactly. No, just some rock singer. Just happens to be super smart and super sensible as well. And I bet he's probably the kind of person that if people start calling him Mayor, he's like, no, just call me Maynard. Mr. Keenan, maybe. Yeah, I don't think it goes much in for pomp and circumstance. Howdy, Mark. How we doing? That's the point. When it comes to like mayors in the US, do they have like the full gown and regalia, like the ermine furs and the gold chains of office and all that kind of stuff? Or do they just have a normal suit and run a car dealership usually? Because the mayor of a big town or a larger town in the UK, because we don't always have mayors in towns now, will have the full robes of office, with about half a ton of gold hanging around their neck. Yeah, because he used to sing facing away from the crowd, didn't he? Then he got over the stage fright, and but instead of facing away from the crowd, he'd look. He was basically focusing on a point at the back of the auditorium or whatever, rather than looking at the crowd because that freaked him out. Which I understand people getting stage fright. It kind of seems a bit weird for a musician or a singer. I understand a drummer. Or at least a drummer can hide behind a kit. Yeah, it's not something I've really had. I mean, I can't say I've been up on stage in front of thousands of people, but then I can do this. So I basically see this as being on the stage. Yeah, and as I say, as he got older, he gradually got a handle on it. And trying to remember when it was. I'm sure I've seen Tool. Must have been in the mid-90s at somewhere like Reading or Download, I'd have thought. One of the UK festivals. Yeah, got tired of all the same stupid questions people are. I mean, there are some actors who are famous for that. It was Michael Gambon, I think, famously managed to get an answer about us. I forget who it was, but it was about their knickers into every interview for about a year because they do the same press junkets. You get the same people asking the same questions, or then they try and think of different questions they might not have been asked, but half the people have already done that and asked a different question, so everyone else has asked the same boring stuff. I can imagine having interview after interview after interview. It must be like working on a production line for a manager that doesn't know what the hell they're doing. It's okay, yeah, you get the money and the fame, and yeah, but you still have to deal with the same dumb people every day. And sometimes the fame isn't all it's cracked up to be. Look at Kurt Cobain. He couldn't cope with being famous. A lot of them probably, if you looked into a lot of the sort of various rock singers from days gone past, probably the reason a lot of them are on a lot of drugs is because either stage fright, couldn't handle the fame, or yeah, mental illness. So I don't think I could cope. I mean, I wouldn't be able to cope physically with touring at any point in my life. I like sleep too much, and I like my own bed. So a different hotel every night. Yeah, it'd be horrific. Yeah, Bill Hicks, he was an interesting one, weren't it? Because whenever anything was like going too well, he'd break out Goat Boy and try and get people to hate him again. But then the people kind of went the wrong way with that. They wanted him to do the Goat Boy bits. Again, very smart guy. And if you look at like Jimmy Carr or Frankie Boyle, and then you watch Bill Hicks, you can see where they get their ideas and styles from. Yes, I see that shows I'm familiar enough with Mr. Hicks's work to know about Goat Boy. What is it? Like a paper cut framed with candy floss. Oh, that one always stuck with me. And I'm not going to go into what that joke was about because that's really not YouTube friendly. I mean, Goat Boy in general isn't YouTube friendly. And anyone who's not familiar with the work of Bill Hicks is like, what is he talking about? If you have a sensitive disposition, don't watch Bill Hicks. Or me, really. I'm amazed I haven't had any complaints about me smoking or drinking for a while. I used to get them quite regularly. I think generally the people who are here have been here long enough to know that I don't care. And that I'm not drinking beer. I think the majority of people here would be more concerned if this was a can of beer. They'd be like, oh no, what's happened? What's wrong with Sharpe? He's drinking beer. He's gone off the ladder. Off the ladder? Gone off the rails. Fallen off the ladder, that's what it is. When you mix your metaphors up. Better than mixing your metal furries up, I suppose. What the hell is that all about? Furries? I just don't get it. What? Huh? Yeah. Basically bestiality as far as I can tell, so, and there are laws against that, except in Brazil, apparently. Or in Kevin Smith movies, thinking back to Clerks 2. And there was the, oh, Miss my donkey. What was it they called it? Interspecies erotica. What? No. That movie is hilarious if you've never seen Clerks 2 or Clerks 1 or Mallrats. George Animal Farm. Yeah, it's that one. Yeah. If you're going to watch Animal Farm, make sure you watch the right one. There were two movies called Animal Farm. One is a George Orwell classic. The other involves a lot of farm animals and, well, humans. And I saw that one at college. In the college library. God. um, with a group of us gathered around the VCR and the TV because someone bought it in. I don't want to know where they got hold of the copy of that from. Probably from Wanky Dave. Yes, went to college with a lad who was known as Wanky Dave. Because he used to like to sit next to ladies, whatever age, he didn't care, and start talking to them and enjoying himself. And then every so often you'd just hear a shout from somewhere on the bus, or if no one else did, you did. Dave, behave! Is it what? What? Well, I suppose you got to do something on that sort of 40-minute, was it 40? 35-minute bus ride. You got to do something to pass the time, I suppose. But the rest of us either chatted or just listened to our Walkman. Not Dave, though. I think in the end he did eventually get thrown out of the college. Because of, reasons. He's probably in jail now. Or if not, one of these days I'm going to see his picture on the news and go, hang on, that's Wanky Dave. Bloody hell, it took this long for him to get arrested. It's also been one of those weeks at work where people I went to college with and people I went to school with have come into the shop as well. That's been fun. Someone walks in and goes, oh, not you. I got rid of you 30 years ago. Yeah, thanks. Only thankfully, I was small when I was at school and college. I kept growing way after I left college. So I'm now bigger than a lot of them that were a lot bigger than me at the time. Jesus. Welcome back, Ricky. Just in time for the lights to start turning off on the tanks. Trying to think back if there are any more broadcastable and interesting stories from college that don't involve copious amounts of drugs or pornography. Probably not. At the time, we were building voltage doublers using post office relays. Just to show the effects of increasing the voltage would decrease the current. So you got it high enough that you could, with some Sharpe youth stories. Why not? We ain't gone there for quite a while, and so the idea was to get the voltage up high enough that you could, if you put your fingers across it, you'd get a belt, but it wasn't dangerous. So if you did it at the start where you just got 240 volt mains electric, you're going to kill yourself. But after several voltage doublers, the power is so low that it's kind of equivalent to like licking a 9-volt battery. So we had it all set up, we got it all built. And I was like, oh yeah, it does tingle. Put my fingers across the terminals. Yeah, it does tingle. Buddy Mark, he did it, except he didn't do it at the end terminals. For whatever reason, he decided to do it about halfway down and licked his fingers first. Got a massive belt, flipped the breaker, blew out the electrics in the electronics lab, which is not good. And basically for decades had a black line around down the center of his index finger, across and back down his thumb, where he'd basically fried a nerve. It's like, you Yeah, those kind of things. All the times. Was it Paul? Yeah, Paul. When we had metal welt. He wore metal boots, the kind of thing, with the toe caps on the outside, so they look cool and edgy and all this. Again, we were working with high voltage stuff, and I kind of figured out how to increase the voltage and the power using very, very large capacitors. So electrolytic capacitors like that and that around. And he fell asleep in the class. He was literally just on the bench. So I basically welded his steel toe caps to his stool, and then he tried to stand up. That's what you can't normally get, like if you survive a lightning strike. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. You just fried a nerve, or blood vessel. It might have been a vein or something like that. But yeah, and he couldn't feel his hands for couldn't feel his fingers for a couple of days. Only Dickie did the same thing when he forgot and set everything all up and got it all powered up, and then went to plug in the oscilloscope cable and got himself a 240-volt belt in the hand. And his hand went numb, so Paul sat there stabbing his hand with a screwdriver with a pencil, and Dickie didn't even realise because he couldn't feel his hand. He had about 40 or 50 holes in it by the time Paul had finished. That's the kind of things we used to get up to at college. How you doing, Matt? Just reminiscing on some old college escapades. It generally involve violence and pain and electrocutions. I mean, they're the ones that are actually broadcastable. The rest of them usually involve drugs. I mean, there was the time we stuffed Mark in his locker and left him in there for an hour. All the time I was stood in between a couple of lockers, so I was like kind of hidden. And Mark was just sort of stood in the corridor. And this girl, at the time, the sort of faux fur coats, the big long faux fur coats were in fashion. This girl walks past in this really long, super furry brown coat that was like down to her ankles. So I did a Chewbacca impression. She turned around and gave Mark a right mouthful. He sat there going, what? And I'm just stood there between the lockers cracking up. Oh, yes, the abuse. Yeah, basically that's what college was. We just used to abuse each other most of the time. Did I ever get... Well, I didn't really get much done to me. Probably because they knew I'd get them back worse. Yeah, I mean, things like, can you just grab that PCB out, or the photo etch board for us? Can you just grab it out of the thing? Yeah, sure. And then they don't think, and they just put their hand in the acid. Why didn't you put the gloves on first? There's a reason there are a pair of thick rubber gloves there, so you don't burn your hands on the acid when you pick it up. Yeah, those kind of things happened all the time. And then, the rest of the time we were either high or stoned or drunk, or all three. And people say school and college are stressful. Oh, and they kind of are until you realise what the rest of life's going to be like. So when you're young and people go, "Oh, school days are the best days of your life," and you're like, "No, they aren't. They suck. They're horrible. I hate it." Then you have to get a job, and run a house or a flat, pay all the bills and whatever. And you're like, school was really easy. I say it was with the electrocution tattoos. I don't think I've actually got any. Well, that's a lie. There's a little bit of one on my thumb, but that comes and goes. And that was from. Where was that myself with on my thumb there? Yeah, I think that was a three phase, so 415 volt. Yeah, don't work on three phase electrics unless you really know what you're doing. I kind of knew what I was doing. I still got zapped because I disconnected the neutral and found the switches for two of the phases to turn them off, but I didn't find the switch for the third phase. So yes, I got a good bolt. A bottle of war formaldehyde bust on my face. PPE saved me. I sort of had burnt face and blind eyes. Yes, formaldehyde is nasty. It's fun, but it's nasty. So this is the thing with being the age I am. I can remember when you were able to go into a chemist's, the shop where you like pick up your prescriptions and what have you, and you could buy things like a bottle of hydrochloric acid, a bottle of formaldehyde, a bottle of ether. Buy all the chemicals. Looking back on it, it was mental. And then I think they figured out that some people actually knew how to use the various different chemicals to create certain things, and then they stopped selling them. Diluting it to make formalin. 100% pure. Oof, that stuff's vicious. You can nap people with a bottle of beer. Yes, you can. Or you can nap yourself, which is really fun. I think that's most of it was sold for was either people with problems sleeping or people who work like weird hours and stuff and would like need to sleep at strange hours. Like say night shift workers and truck drivers. Parked up by the side of a busy motorway because you run out of driving hours and you can't get to sleep because there's trucks thundering past. Just have a quick huff of the ether and out you go like a light. Just make sure you get the thing shut again before, and you've got a window slightly open so you don't kill yourself. Hello, Adele. How you doing, me darling? Heaving pile of gorgeousness, you. That was meant as a compliment. So far, you're awake. Well, that's always a good start. You're awake now. It's time to coffee and actually wake up. As I always say, there's a difference between being awake and being, or there's a difference between waking up and being awake. Waking up for me is like I can just about crawl out of bed, go to the loo, and then sit in the armchair. Waking up takes another couple of hours usually. It's even become a thing now at work where they try not to schedule me before midday because it's just generally a bad idea. The thing is, I don't mind as long as it's not a 7 o'clock start because I couldn't deal with that. I'm the the day would go quick. The shift would zoom by because I'd be pretty much out of it for the entire shift. But yeah, I'd get home and what would it be, 7 till 1, 6 hours, yeah, or 6:45 till 12:45. Yeah, I'd basically come home and just fall asleep for about 3 hours. So I normally work like 2 till 8 or 12 till 6, and the schedules are having to be readjusted because of the thing that's going on at work at the moment that probably legally I can't talk about. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but do you mind if I put you in for a 10 o'clock? Yeah, fine. I can do that. Yeah, I can do a 10 o'clock start. Don't worry. I mean, I'll go home and fall asleep for a couple of hours, but I can do it. Yeah, I'm generally just more compass mentis the later the day goes on until about 9 or 10 o'clock, and then I start flagging. Yeah, so I mean, doing 2 till 8 works perfectly for me. Shady stuff work, it is. Yeah. It's not shady stuff going on at work. It's um, something to do with a colleague and some problems that are currently going on. And that's about as far as I can go. No, not corporate. Individual store issue. Um, Individual employee issue. And it's not me. Before you go, what you done, Sharp? What you done? What you said? Who you goosed? I mean, there's probably some shady stuff going on, but that'd be behind the scenes, and I wouldn't know a thing about any of that. That would be at a corporate level. Um, but then when you're talking massive companies with nearly 1,000 stores that are part of a bigger company with another, yeah, there's got to be something if you're going on higher up. But I just go in, do my job, and bugger off home. I'm old enough and I've learnt enough about working to just keep me gob shut and get on with it. And then if I don't know, I can't be blamed for it. I mean, other than the fact that I do take notes. Yeah, I can't talk. Yeah, it's confidentiality clauses, blah blah blah, and it's also just people I work with might accidentally watch, so I can't really say anything. Um, I'm not going to name the company or the people or anything. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I just don't have the time or the willpower to deal with. So yes, I've worked enough places for long enough to know when to just keep my nose clean, keep out of it, and just let other people deal with it because it's not my job to do it or say anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll raise any concerns I have with my manager, and that's as far as it goes. Although I do, yeah, exactly, not my circus, not my monkeys. I'm not paid enough to deal with that. That's why I'm at the bottom rung of the employee levels, and I'm going to stay there. Um, because then very little is expected of you other than turn up, do your job, and bugger off. You don't get called out of hours and things like that. There's a couple of wishing they'd taken my advice as well on that. But I just can't be dealing with all that drama. I mean, it's like you get some people who seem to need drama happening in their lives. This is a completely different thing. Oh dear, sootful. I just don't get it. So there needs to be something to stress about, or a drama going on, and I just can't be dealing with it. I'm like, no, I don't want any drama. Like a good day I call it a good day if nothing happens. Yeah, all the schoolyard crap they should have grown out of at about the age of 17, maybe 18, or 21 if they went to university. Yeah, those kind of things, and you're thinking, why? Why is this a big deal? You're like, okay, someone said something you didn't like, or you said something someone didn't like. Well, just apologise and move on with it. If I say something out of turn, which happens fairly regularly because of my sense of humour, I always say to people, if I say something that you don't like or I go too far, just tell me and I'll apologise and I'll know where to draw the line. Because I can get so dark and disturbing. And if someone's got something going on, like, because I got in a lot of trouble before once, many years ago when I worked somewhere else. This is when I worked back at Banner Poultry. God's back when I was killing chickens for a living. And a woman had been off for a few weeks. I hadn't really paid much attention. She came back and she was looking kind of miserable and down in the dumps. So I started cracking a few jokes. She started cheering up a bit. I was like, oh, result, I'm just trying to cheer a colleague up. And then I told a dead baby joke. And she ran off howling. And I'm like, what the hell? What? Huh? Next thing I know, I'm getting hauled into the office and hauled over the coals. You shouldn't have told her that joke. She had a miscarriage. Well, no one bloody told me. So shouldn't have to. Yes, I'm the person that's going to tell those kind of jokes. You've heard me tell those kind of jokes. My line is somewhere off in the distance. You don't have to go into all the details. Just say, such and such has been off because of. I'll go, right, so I know what not to put my foot into, because this engages before this quite regularly. But if I know, then I won't make the joke and I won't upset the person accidentally. Waffle jokes are bad as well. Was Jimmy Carr did one. It was about giving money to send mosquito nets to Africa just to save the mosquitoes from catching AIDS. Something like that. You need to know where the line is before you tap dance on it. Exactly. And if I'd have known, I would not have in a million years, unless she peed me off, gone there. It's like, we don't need to know the details. Just a basic. Yeah, apparently, Pam, there is a line. Hello, my darling, Miss Wheat. How are you? You lovely lady, you. And in 3, 2, 1. I live on a Mobius loop, no line. It's just one long line that never ends. Yeah, I mean, there is a line apparently, I just can't see it. I need a pair of binoculars seen from the top of HMS Warspite's foremast. And yes, I know there were ships with higher masts than HMS Warspite, but Warspite, if it's invisible, it's fake. Yeah, like electric. You can't see it, you can only see its effects. Tail out at Foxy's. Ooh. I think Foxy can take those jokes, but I'm not going to go there. I'm assuming you're not actually referring to Foxy's tail. Unless, of course, she's giving birth to a raccoon, which I've heard stranger things. I used to read the Sunday Sport, well, the Daily Sport, and if you're not familiar with that newspaper, I say newspaper. Got all the water changes done before the weather turned. Yes. Oh, egg watch stream. So, tail out, I'm guessing reptiles rather than a camera on Roxy's ovaries. Like a week of storms on the way. Ah, yes, good idea. The water parameters may change slightly. Corey's hatching. Corey Dory's Sunday Sport newspaper blast from the past. Exactly. But at least with the sport, you knew it was all BS. So it was just funny to read. Plus, pretty much every other page had a topless lady on it. Here's the weather with a pair of D cups. Yeah, it was that kind of paper. It's like someone saw the Daily Star, the Mirror, and the Sun, and went, "Hold my beer." You still can actually get the Sunday Sport, by the way, Mark. When I worked at not the convenience store at One Stop, we used to get the Sunday Sports in. And yes, before they got sent back, I did have a quick look through. Because you have to. I mean, I haven't bought one since I was like at college. Shrimp tank's done and the floor is mopped. Now, was the water that was on the floor from the shrimp tanks, so all you had to do is just get the mop out rather than everything else, or I can't remember who the models were. Mind you, the models that were in it probably don't want to see topless these days. Use the steam. Oh, very posh. Should call you Mrs. Bouquet. Bouquet residence, lady of the house speaking. How may I help you? Sheridan. And if you're not British, you won't get that joke. Well, maybe the Aussies might have got it. Bucket, yes, the bucket lady. Bouquet, not bucket. It's just such a funny program at points. Some of the jokes, Mr. Martin, some of them probably you couldn't say these days, but you see, when it came to, as June using a steamer, I cleaned my kitchen floor the other week. I was down there with well, with a bowl and a scrubbing brush and a sponge and a rag. So I clip all the stars of other shows prank called. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Patricia Routledge, wasn't it? Yeah, she can take a joke. Because her husband at the top herself. Yeah, I think you're more of a Victor Meldrew type, Mark. I think what you could say henpecked. I don't bloody believe it. Classic Victor Meldrew, 1 foot in the grave. If you've not seen that again, that's hilarious. With a very young Angus Deaton. I still say one of the funniest bits was when someone kept ringing him and he was on the phone, he was getting more and more upset and angry with them. He was looking after a puppy at the time. He reaches over, grabs what he thinks is the phone, holds it up to his head, and it's the puppy. Yes. In sickness and health, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. They will never be reshown on television, ever. I think even Pornhub would think twice about putting them up. Don't make shows like they used to. Now, well, back then they didn't worry about. Don't worry about it, Sam. Geez, I don't hold anyone to be in here. It's always optional. It used to be bucket before I married her, and now it's bouquet. Yes, gasp, horrors. Yes, it's because I showed him my socks earlier, Pam. He's having to have a moment to himself. Kingswood Country. So I mean, I remember we used to have some Aussie shows on the TV. I mean, other than Neighbours and what was the other teen soap on in Summer Bay? Can't remember what that one was called. We used to have, obviously Skippy and Flying Doctors, Country Practice, Home and Away. That was it. Yeah, Prisoner Cell Block H. We got that as well. That was always shown very late at night. Was never really sure why, because it wasn't like extreme language or. Oh, yeah. And if you can, if you were thinking about leaving a super chat, leave it at that link there for Sam. Trusting that on either YouTube or TV nowadays. And yeah, that was Alf Garnett being kind of PC. I mean, the reason that Till Death Do Us Part and In Sickness and Health got away with it, because even back then it was risque. It was cutting it real close to the bone. The reason they got away with it was because it was the gay black man that actually always came out on top. Woof. Not the racist, bigoted, homophobic old white man. To put it in context, if you've not seen either of those shows, it's the character Alf Garnett is a miserable, cantankerous, racist, homophobic old man. So, and he had a carer who happened to be a gay black man, and that was basically the whole premise of the show. Yeah, both sides gave as good as they got, and that's why it worked. It wasn't one having a go at the other, like in HAPPY or some others do have them. Acquire, indeed. Oh, Tommy had dad stuff to do. So was that helping with something or disciplining someone? It's going to be one of those. Um, yeah, I mean, I'll never show them again. I don't even think they're available on DVD anymore. Um, but yeah, I mean, you just have to watch one episode. I mean, hello, hello, they can get away with, and they can still show that, even though some of the jokes in that are rather iffy, because it's white people taking the mickey out of white people, just different nationalities rather than races. And that one is set in a French cafe during World War II, during the German occupation. All the people who work in the cafe speak perfect English in a normal, and their normal everyday English accent. The undercover Englishman who's pretending to be a French policeman has got a really bad French accent. The Germans are all basically gay. Uh, yeah, it's just hilarious. And yeah, some others do have them. Do 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 do. Yes, Betty, oh Betty. Camp Germans. No, they were more than camp. There was definitely more than campness going on, especially with Lieutenant Gruber. And I never did figure out Hair Flick and Helga. I think Hair Flick was camp, but Helga had the hots for him. But if you see him now, Helga still looks like she blooming did back then. And yeah, so the cafe owner, Rene, who was always trying to get off with the barmaids, the waitresses. Camp Germans was so serious. I think pretty much any comedy depiction of Germans from that period, they're always camp. They're either camp or just utter psychopaths. Um, yeah, so they were all fun to watch. I see nothing. Listen very carefully. I shall say this only once. Good morning, and that's where the good moaning thing comes from. Is hello, hello. Um, Good morning. I was pissing by the door, and I thought I heard a boom. Oh, you stupid woman. Can you not see the poor girl is upset about her father? I was comforting her. No, Renee. You were kissing her and trying to cop a feel. Yeah, it's. Oh, 40 Towers, that's another good one. And the spelling on the sign changed with every show. One was farty towels, flowery twats. There's all sorts of ones. He's a hamster, Mr. Forty. He's a hamster. No, Basil, it's a rat. He's a hamster. Don't mention the war. I may have done once, but I think I got away with it. And he then walks past goose stepping. It's classic comedy. It's taking the mickey out of things that should be taking the mickey out of. Or doing it in such a way that it's fair and even, rather, yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean, only John Cleese would go on a tour, call it the Alimony Tour, and freely admit, yeah, it's just to pay off my divorce settlement. And then Michael Palin went into a bit of acting and travel journalism. Don't know what Eric Idle's up to at the moment. Probably just living off his money. Terry Gilliam went into making some really cool but quite weird movies. Time Bandits is a Terry Gilliam movie. And so is Brazil, and that one's very strange. And you'd expect it to be kind of strange, given it was someone from Monty Python. And let's be honest, everyone knows the song Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. I just got to whistle it and it'll get stuck in all your heads. Yeah, you do need the legs to play. Yeah. And coming from the Ministry of Silly Walks, he had a lot of practice at doing things like that. And I sometimes do the silly walks when I'm at work as well, just for a laugh. And I also sometimes mince, but that's just for lols. So I've not really watched much recent comedy because I haven't watched much recent TV, but sit on my face and tell me you love me. Yes. That was rather funny, and that took some explaining to some people as well. It was John Cleese and the two Ronnies, Ronnie Barker and Ronnie Corbett, that did the best ever representation of what the British class system is. Well, walking about was like John Wayne crapping himself. Yeah, that's kind of understandable. I walk like that sometimes as well. Well, that's usually because I have. Bloody irritable bowel. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I work all night and I sleep all day. I wear high heels and suspenders just like my dear mama. And the one the best song ever written. Spam, 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 spam. Yeah, it's just completely surreal and out of left field and random, but that's why it's funny. It is but a flesh wound. Every spam. I'm not. Oh yeah, I'm not going to sing every spam. It's sacred. Although I did see a cool T-shirt a while back. It was something like, was it 2 million of my potential children died on your daughter's face last night? Something like that. Yeah, it's a spam. Problem is, are you seeing the price of spam lately? Jeez Louise. It's now actually cheaper to buy gammon than it is to buy spam. Every spam is sacred. Every spam is good. Yes. Oh God, how did we get into Monty Python? And you're going from surreal comedy to just pure surrealism, the magic roundabout. Like a children's TV show where all the characters are on different kinds of drugs. Oh, I'll get that out of my head, no worries. I'll just stick Nightwish from Hellfest last year on. Everything will go out of my head. HR Puffin stuff. So we didn't get that in the UK, not that I'm aware of. Or we may have done, but I'm too old and I missed it. Because there'll be 20, 30-year-olds going on about TV shows that they loved as kids, and I'm like, I ain't got a clue. About a boy and his magical flute. We had Jamie and his magic torch. And there's probably a remake of that, Jamie and his magic fleshlight. I can't remember what was magical about Jamie's torch. Yes, all geographically. I don't think Jamie was, but it was weird. And we had rhubarb and custard, which was the cat and the dog. Finger bobs, that was definitely drug induced. How anyone thought that would be a good idea to show on TV, and how it went for so many years, I don't know. That's the theme tune to Rhubarb and Custard. The really shaky, jittery animation as well. Probably couldn't show that these days. It'd probably give people seizures. Trigger epilepsy or something like that. Probably would. It was, yeah, definitely one of a kind, Rhubarb and Custard. Well, what other ones were there? Now you got the obvious ones, Captain Pugwash. With Master Bates, Roger the Cabin Boy, the Seaman Staines. Yeah, everything would need a warming label. Messed up. A boy with magical flute and something dirty came in my mouth. Are you thinking one time at band camp? Because that's where my head went. But then pretty much any time anyone mentions a flute, that's where my brain goes these days. Because I may have a slight crush on Alison Hannigan. May have done since Buffy the Vampire Slayer. While everyone was going, oh, Buffy, oh, she's so hot. I'm thinking, yeah, Willow's hotter. So I'm weird. And who's had the better career of the two? Yeah, H.R. Huffin's stuff might have been a better name for that. In fact, it probably was the original name. As long as it weren't influenced by H.R. Geiger or Giger, whichever way you pronounce it. I've seen documentaries about his work, and like people are talking to each other. One's calling him Geiger, one's calling him Giger, and they're not arguing. So, and he was European, so Giger would probably be more accurate. But for those who don't know, he's the one who drew the alien, and the whole art style from the Alien movies is his. If you really want some brain melting art, MC Escher, and not MC as in rapist or turntablist, as in first initials, spelled ESCHER, is the one who did all the mathematically impossible drawings where you look at it and you go, oh, that makes, no, it doesn't make sense. How the, what the, huh? Got all the never-ending staircase that keeps going up and things like that. You have to say this because everyone these days thinks MC is some kind of random musicalist. Well, I think originally it stood for musical compere, So it's like literally the person who told the jokes between the songs or the acts. Yeah, I think that's what it originally stood for. I don't know what it stands for these days. Massive, yeah, something begin with C. Um, yeah, not my go-to. Not my favorite kind of music. Well, unless you're talking about the Beastie Boys. And seeing young people react to the Beastie Boys is hilarious. Especially young black American people, because they had no idea that the Beastie Boys were doing rap and that they were white and that they were good at it. And they weren't the first rap rock. It was African. First rap rock track was Africa Bambata and oh, who was it with? It was someone rocky. Yeah, got to fight for your right to party. No sleep to Brooklyn. Three MCs and one DJ. Intergalactic. The list goes on. The video for three MCs and one DJ is hilarious. Also, very funny. Um, as is No Sleep to Brooklyn. If you watch the uncensored version, anyway. But back then, when like the Beastie Boys first came out, it was like punk rock happening again. It was like, oh, ban this sick filth. Oh no, oh they're not nice. Why can't you listen to Take That or whatever else was around at the time, whichever sappy rubbish was about. I'm trying to think, was it late 80s, early 90s Beastie Boys? Um, yeah, same with Motley Crue, Twisted Sister, and then they tried to take them all to court over the lyrics, and then found out the hard way that rock musicians aren't just idiots. I mean, that court case might have gone a different way if it had been Tommy Lee in the stand rather than Dee Snider. But, he did. He gave him a right whooping because they were expecting some absolute idiot, weren't they? They were expecting to just make him look like an absolute fool. And instead, he made them look like absolute fools. Um, and it pretty much happens almost any time that like rock bands get taken to court over things. Um, the whole backwards masking thing, where like, oh, but they're putting satanic things and they're telling our children to kill themselves. And it's basically, if you're playing the records backwards, you should kill yourself. Why would we want our fans to die? They buy our music, they buy our shirts, they come to our shows, they pay us. Why would we want them to die? We don't want to go back to working in a factory or a McDonald's. We want to be rock stars. I actually played some Jane's Addiction for some people at work the other day, and they got very confused. Played and been caught stealing, and I was just like, what? Yeah, exactly. It's people who don't listen to rock or metal or the less mainstream rock and metal. I'm not saying that mainstream is bad. It is. But yeah, they're all exceptionally gifted musicians. I mean, let's be honest, someone like Status Quo, they were blatantly honest about the fact that they could barely play, um, three chords for their entire career. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people don't like about. They say, "Oh, it's just noise." Yeah, Voice and Muse are all classically trained. Yeah, a lot of them are. Like Flora Jansen of Nightwish, classically trained opera singer. And she can growl with the best of them. Um, looks amazing on stage as well. Amazing crowd control. Um, but yeah, Dream Theater, exactly. Yeah, and the reason a lot of people don't like it is because they're so used to that simple formulaic 4/4 time signature, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. But when things are different to that, they can't follow it. It's going back to what we were saying about Tool earlier. I think I really like the cigar, but I don't think I'll be able to sleep if I smoke it. What's in the cigar? I've never had a problem sleeping after smoking. I'm more likely to struggle to sleep if I don't smoke. That probably says more about me than you, though. So if you love Dream Theater, um, try listening to. I'm going to stick it in the. I can't sleep if I smoke. Weird. This is one for you to probably watch the live video. Adele. And the main singer in that song is actually an Aussie by the name of Michael Mills, and his band is, I say band, he does everything himself. Toe Hider, you've probably heard of them. Yeah, that is an awesome track. Great introduction to Ariel. People say, "Oh no, you got to listen to The Day That the World Breaks Down." I'm thinking, that's a 12-minute track with 11 singers and about 6 different musical styles. That's probably not the best intro. Iggy Azalea is an Aussie. I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with Iggy Azalea. I get the feeling we're talking like pop R&B or that kind of music. But I just in one ear out the other for me. It's because you trained your body to stay awake with cigarettes. My body just stays awake if I'm upright. Still trying to find the clip of Rammstein on stage with their head wrapped in duct tape. Ooh. Seeing people reacting to the live version of Engel when those wings extend and all the flames come out, and they're like, "What the?" Did I read all the stuff going on about Till had been done with by now? Like he's either all been dropped because of insufficient evidence, or it didn't happen, or is it still going on? Uh, Not that Rammstein needs to continue making music, so my brain doesn't start if I don't have my morning smoke. I mean, yeah, I've literally it's out of bed, have a pee, have a quick swig of Coke, have a smoke, and generally go grab an energy drink, and then just pretty much like I do here. Book Dick on the Family Value Talk. Yeah, that's with the strap on. and the cream package. Which is your Coca-Cola, yes. On my wages, I can afford the AIN version of Coke. Yeah, this is it. I always enjoy watching the reactions of, let's, and not being racist at all. It's usually an American black guy who's never heard rock or metal or anything in their life, and they're conditioned to think that rap is the pinnacle of music. And then I watch something like Rammstein or Nightwish. You just watch them brains explode as though I can't. What? I was watching some pretty young girl the other day. She was reacting to Cradle of Filth, the Battery aria. I thought that's quite a short video to react to that. Is she literally going, "Hi, it's me. Here we go. Yeah, that was cool," or that kind of thing? No, she got about halfway through it and had to stop watching it or listening to it because she got scared. Bless her. She found the lyrics too scary. Not that she could understand what Danny Filth was singing, but it was a lyric video, so she was reading them as he was singing, I guess you could say. I'm thinking, you thought the Battery aria was scary? Somewhere in Indian rap with Sanskrit and English. Well, I can understand that. I mean, different languages do have different natural flows to them. So it's like Balkan, sort of Croatia, that kind of area. That language works well in rap, flows really well. German doesn't, generally because most of the words are too long and none of them rhyme. So, as I say, French is the language of love. So, I can see Sanskrit and English working well in a rap. I mean, I might not enjoy listening to it, but I can see it working well. Anyway, I've been rambling for over 2 hours and waffling. So, I think we know it's coming. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chatting. Having a bit of a laugh. Putting the world to rights. Being crude, risque, as we normally are. Nanakara and Nomala. So, Sam can have a drink. Have a great week. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye-bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Ah.